Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're going to spend the next 7 minutes talking with Sheriff Craig Webre out of Lafourche Parish, of course, just fresh off a re-election campaign, so congratulations on that. We're going to get to what's happening at Central Lafourche, but first of all, I wanted to congratulate you on winning it, and you shared with me that you're not old, Sheriff, by any means, but but you've been in office for a while, and I know something you're very proud of.
I am very proud. Actually, I'm completing my 8th term. I'm in my 32nd year as sheriff. I was first elected in 1991, sworn in 1992. And I'm one of 2 sheriffs that are still serving from that 1991 election. The second one being Sheriff Willie Martin, the sheriff of St. James Parish, who has decided not to seek re-election and will be retiring at the end of June next year. So at that point, I will be the only sheriff still actively serving in Louisiana who was elected back in 1991. And at the end of that term, it'll be 36 years. And quite candidly, I don't know how those years got by so quickly. But as I look back, I now realize I got employees who have retired. Their children are on the brink of retirement, and some of their grandchildren are new employees here. So, 33 decades of service, you really have the ability to go through and see families follow the footsteps of their mothers and fathers, because we have mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, husband and wives. We have every imaginable combination that there is. It's really fulfilling, very rewarding. I've said this before, I'm a blessed man, and I couldn't even begin to count all the blessings. But one, I serve a great parish. The people of Lafourche and Terrebonne and the surrounding areas support their police officers. They don't hate police or demonize police the way you see on the newspapers or on the national media sometimes in larger cities and other areas. So we serve a good population, people that support and love one another and families, and grew up here. And secondly, I work with some of the most talented people anywhere in the country. I tell people it's a calling, much like being a preacher is a calling, being a teacher is a calling, working in the medical profession. The people who come to work here just for a job don't stay and don't make a career. I mean, they produce good results and they're very capable. It's not anything negative towards those individuals, but the ones who stay and make the 20, 25, 30 plus years are those who truly have a calling, who could be doing other things because they have a lot of talent, but they choose this profession. And working with those people is just an amazing, amazing thing for me.
Yeah, and what it says a lot, the people of Lafourche Parish, for this long, that have trust in you and hand you that job. So again, congratulations. A great accomplishment for there. So again, congratulations. I know I know you're happy to just finish with a with an election, because even though you've done this 8 different times, it's still, I'm sure, the stress of an election is no fun, right?
Well, elections are kind of a unique time, particularly with sheriff's offices, because the employees are at-will employees. And while it's not practical for a new sheriff to come in and change the entire workforce, many times there are key people whose jobs are replaced or people get reassigned. So it does create a certain level of anxiety, but you're right. We've been through it 8 times. This is the 9th time. So we're well aware of that. And I think elections have changed a lot from 30 years ago, when it was much more hands-on, face-to-face. You've seen the digital media kind of take front and center in the area of elections. You see a lot more in the area of polls and consultants and so on and so forth, which can be very expensive. But I always believe there's no substitute for grassroots,
right,
for being out there face-to-face, pressing the flesh, listening to your constituents. And I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, door to door. And like I say, when you got 3 or 4 generations, that helps out as well. Let's change to a topic, to your work, right? And Central Lafourche and Lafourche Parish schools in general, there was an incident that is going on, and I know that a lot of people were concerned about going to school today.
Yes, the main incident, and then there was a secondary incident that people thought may have been related, but the 2 were unrelated. So let me talk about the principal thing that we were involved in. Yesterday afternoon, one of our school resource officers was made aware of a YouTube rap song, if you will, rap video that was produced by a 15-year-old student at Central Lafourche High School. And within the context of that video, that rap video, there was some lyrics, if you will, or some allegations, not so much allegations, but more lyrics suggesting that the student had violent tendencies or maybe had animosities toward some of the teachers that were working at Central Lafourche. And with some of the rap music, there's a certain nomenclature. People will use certain terms to describe a weapon or a firearm or drugs. And this particular video did make reference to sexual violence and also firearm violence. Our detectives, juvenile detectives, and other detectives were able to isolate and determine that there was only one individual involved. We were able to bring the 15-year-old in and have a interrogation along with a parent, and the parent was very, very supportive. And we got a full confession. We are satisfied that there was really not a genuine threat to carry out some of the things that were in this video, that it was a video that was produced and certainly created enough of a concern, as it should. And that's the thing we have to be aware of in the world we live today. There's no such thing as making a joke or not meaning what you say when you make those words, or you take actions that suggest that you might be violent. Kind of like when airports really ramped up with TSA. Right. Don't say anything that you think could be misinterpreted, because it's going to result in law enforcement and action. And in this particular case, this 15-year-old was charged as a juvenile with a statute, with a specific statute dealing with intimidation of certain public officials and retaliation. So the judge required that this individual be subjected to electronic monitoring. And I tell you the truth, all of the beds at the juvenile justice facility are occupied with violent juveniles. And while this particular case certainly has the potential of violence, once we interrogated and spoke to the parents, we were satisfied that there was not an immediate threat. However, the secondary thing that occurred is one of these internet references to a school shooting that came out of, I think, the state of Florida or Illinois, and it was using a Central, as Central was in the name of the school. Right. And we experienced that a year or so ago. There would be these internet threats that would make reference to a school that came from out of state. And then, of course, it creates panic. So I'm told that over 400 people did not go to school today at Central Lafourche High School as a result of those two things. Some people thought that the threat to do harm at the school was related to and part of the video, and they were not. They were completely separate. The threat was a complete internet hoax that we continue to deal with time and time again. The video was isolated to one student and very specific, and we feel like we have both of those issues adequately taken care of without any danger. So I'm hoping that tomorrow people will realize that school is safe, that the law enforcement is on top of it. The school resource officers are there for a reason, and they do a great job. And more importantly, send a message to any other kid or student, or even for that matter, third party, who might think they want to engage in this type of behavior, that there are going to be consequences. It's my understanding that expulsion took place and that student will be expelled from school, I'm sure for some period of time. I would have to let the school system comment on that.
Sure. Well, Sheriff, sure appreciate the update. Obviously, that should calm a lot of folks whose children will be going to school. Again, congratulations on the reelection, and we appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure, absolutely. We'll see you next time. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.